and welcome back. We are going to be doing a roundup of the best and the worst advent calendars that I unboxed this year for this advent calendar season. I ended up grabbing 9 advent calendars this year for a grand total of $404. I'm gonna rate them 1 through 9. Number 1 being the top favorite calendar, the one I highly recommend, and number 9, of course, being the one that I absolutely did not like. We've got a lot to go through today, so let's go ahead and get into it. And I figured let's build some anticipation for the number 1 top rated calendar on my list, and we'll get started from 9th place and work our way up. So number 9, we got the Sephora Wishing You Advent Calendar coming in at $45 for 24 items. I feel like this calendar should be no surprise that it's at the bottom of my list. Every year, this calendar is the exact same. Nothing has really switched the past couple of years except from that they do a couple different shades of like the eyeshadows and the lipsticks sometimes, but everything else is pretty much the same. And they always include the items that we do not want in this calendar. They include the pocket mirror, the nail file, and this year, instead of stickers, we got tape. That kind of says it all right there. It feels like at this point they're not even really trying, and it's kind of frustrating. They have so much range in their Sephora line of products that I don't understand why they keep doing this to us. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, come on! We know you can make something good here. Just try. And if this was in our 9th place, I feel like you can guess what would be in the 8th. And that's gonna be the Sephora Wishing You Mini Advent Calendar. This one was 25 bucks. You got 6 days, but for those 6 days, it was 2 gifts per the day. So they did double it up. It was supposed to be the advent calendar that follows that larger one, and it's supposed to be a lead up from Christmas all the way to New Year's. You get a gift every day, so it's like an entire month full of gifties. I love the concept of that, but it just doesn't make sense for me to get both of the advent calendars because a lot of the items that are inside this mini one are also in that full size calendar. So if you get both of them, you're getting a lot of the same stuff, and that just, it doesn't really add up. So I ended up deciding that if I was between this calendar and the other one and I had to choose, I would pick this one, because at least with this one, I felt like the products that you got in here were a lot better. You got more full-size items, and of course you did not get the pocket mirror or the tape. You did still get the nail file, but I'll take the nail file over the other two. Now let's talk number 7 on the list. And this one, it's not really much to show anymore because I kind of destroyed this advent calendar. But this one was the Ulta Beauty 12 Days of Beauty. This calendar was $22. You got 12 items, which actually this calendar is now on sale for $13.20. Just want to mention that because it's a lot cheaper now. It's like 50% off almost. But even with that, I'm still gonna keep it number 7 on the list because this one was all mini products. Nothing wrong with all minis, but I just can't help but draw comparisons from this one to the Target Advent Calendar, which was also 20 bucks. Well, actually, it was $2 less. This one was 22, that one was 20, and in the Target one, you ended up getting quite a few full-size items. So I feel like there could have definitely been a little bit of a step up here with the Ulta calendar, especially with it being their own brand. I felt like they could have included a couple full-size items. Now, this is not intentional to go brand by brand, but number 6, we had the Ulta To the Moon and Back Mini Pinata. And although this one was 2 less items than the previous one, it was still the same price of 22 bucks. And I ended up still liking it more. This one actually ended up having 1 full-size item, which was some lashes. That one I actually was very excited to see stuffed in here, and that's one of the reasons why I ended up liking this one a lot more. I actually also like the range of products that came inside of this one more versus that 12-day advent calendar. And because of that, I didn't really mind that it had less items. I ended up really enjoying this one. 5th on the list, we had the Target Self-Care Advent Calendar. This 12-day advent calendar was $20. You got 12 items. I felt like it was kind of hovering right in between for me. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was just kind of like in the middle for me. And one of the reasons I kind of had it in the middle spot here is because this felt like they kind of missed the mark here with this being the self-care advent calendar. We had cleansers in here twice, where I feel like they could have had made so much more use use of the day by having a different kind of self-care item. I also felt like it was a lot of just skincare, whereas self-care can be very inclusive of a lot of different things. We could have had some face masks, we could have had some bath salts, bath bombs, we could have had facial rollers. We could have had a lot of things that would incorporate self-care that wasn't just focusing on just like skincare. So I felt like this one just kind of didn't really meet the mark for me, and that's why I ended up putting it in the 5th slot here. Number 4, this one might surprise you, but I actually am putting the Sephora 25 Days of Beauty must-haves in this spot. I actually really like this calendar. It ended up being $85 for 25 days plus one bonus one, which that bonus one was a total letdown. It was the biggest item and it was just a sheet mask. Felt like they could have played that a little bit better so you didn't get too excited about it, but that's beside the point. But this one ended up being number 4 on my list because I actually really enjoyed the products that they used in this calendar. It wasn't the same old stuff with the Sephora advent calendar where it's just their brand and they're using the same stuff over and over. This is the Sephora favorites throughout the store of Sephora. So it had a lot of different brands in it. It kind of reminds me of those favorite kits that they put out several times a year. I don't know when they do it, but they release a box and it's got the minis of the must-haves. And I actually really think those are fun boxes to be able to try out some of the really hyped up makeup without having to go out and buy the full sizes. And I feel like this was just that, but you know, extra large, getting 25 items versus I think it's like 7 or so. And it just had a lot of products that after I unboxed it, I genuinely enjoyed using it. So that's why this one is number 4 on my list. Third up on the list here, we have the Ipsy 25-day advent calendar. Again, this one might surprise you because I was not that nice about it in the Ipsy advent calendar unboxing video I did. That last item, I just had a very bad experience with that one, and that one was supposed to be the best item in the box. It was the hair straightener brush that I found it did not work at all for me. But I realized afterwards, I was like, okay, just because it didn't work for me, it doesn't mean that the whole calendar is terrible. I actually really enjoyed all the other items that were inside the calendar. So I kind of had to put my personal opinion about that aside and be like, all right, if that wasn't the case, it would have been a good calendar. So that's why this one ended up being number 3 on the list. I mean, I would still keep in mind the last item with that straightener brush being the most hyped, expensive item that's supposed to be like really worth it with this calendar. If that's not your thing, if you know you don't like it, I would still skip on this. But if you do like that kind of a product, it does make the box worth it. Because, oh, I totally forgot to mention the price of this one. I got so distracted. This one was $115 with a value of $475. So definitely really good in terms of value for this calendar here. I've got 2 spots left, and the last 2 calendars I had such a hard time trying to decide between that I almost wanted to call it a tie, but I ended up deciding to put this one in the number 2 spot. Lunar Beauty 12 Days of Lunar Advent Calendar. This one was $50, and the only reason that this one is getting the number 2 spot is because of the value. The value on this one is not really great. It's $50 and it essentially is the price of a eyeshadow palette, which this one was a build your own palette. Palette here at the bottom, it was an empty eyeshadow palette, and each day you got 12 different eyeshadows, you filled it up, and in the end it was like a holiday palette. Very fun idea, love the concept of it, so different, so unique. I thought it was really fun, but it kind of doesn't really make sense for the value because a regular eyeshadow palette on their website is about 48 bucks and you get a couple more eyeshadows in it. I mean, of course the eyeshadow palette itself is reusable, so that is a bonus. You can reuse it in the future for different single shadows. But one thing we tend to look for in advent calendars is really great value, and this one just didn't really have any value. Which then that leaves only one calendar for possibly being the number 1 advent calendar, in my opinion, for this season. And that is the Target 12 Days of Beauty. This one honestly surprised me how much I liked it. It was 20 bucks. You got 12 items, 5 of which were full size, which for 20 bucks, I mean, that is really good. And the range of products that they put inside of here was actually really nice. Everything felt very cohesive. Nothing was repeating or just had no clue why they put it inside of there. Well, they did put the vitamins in there and I did not really understand that one, but vitamins aside, the range was really good. Everything just kind of made sense for this advent calendar, and getting to get such a good advent calendar for such an affordable price is why this one ended up being my #1 top spot advent calendar this year. Target, you did it. You did it with this one. With that being said though, I do still want to give an honorable mention for one that could have potentially been spot #1, my very own DIY advent calendar that I did with TJ Maxx and Marshall's finds. I just did that video last week. If you guys haven't seen it yet, I feel like I did a really great job with it without tooting my own horn. But I felt like that one was a little bit difficult to actually put on the list since it's very up to you what you find at TJ Maxx and Marshall's. But I just wanted to give that a little bit of a shout out because I feel like that was a very good idea for creating your own kind of advent calendar on your own kind of budget with your own people in mind. So if you want any ideas on how to do that, I will link that video down below so you can check that one out if you haven't already. And by the way, I do want to mention that I have another one of those videos coming very soon. I'm attempting a 12-day version that'll be up in the next couple of days. But with that being said, that was my favorites and my fails for all of the advent calendars that I have unboxed this season. Let me know what your guys' thoughts were on all of these calendars and which ones you would have put in your top spot for #1. I always love getting to hear your guys' opinion on the calendars as well. This has been such a good advent calendar season, and I do still have a couple more things that I'm planning to do with advent calendars, but I wanted to give you guys this roundup before it got to be too late. In case you were still planning to get this as perhaps a Christmas present, I know it's a little bit late in the month of December to still give it to him as like a lead up, but it still could potentially make a Christmas gift item. With that being said, that's gonna be it for today's video. If you liked today's video, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that little bell button, and I'll see you guys in my next video.